Hello, everybody. I am a global nationalist. I support nationalism in my country, India, and in all countries around the globe. Today, we're going to be looking at the UK election, and we're going to see if Liz Truss, the new Prime Minister, is a nationalist or not. Well, Liz Truss is the Prime Minister, and I want to congratulate her and the Conservative Party and whoever voted for her. Good job. Now, I am a nationalist, so I basically want to see whether other political leaders subscribe to my ideology, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. Liz Truss is someone who I've discussed previously in my previous video about the UK elections. You'll see the link to that somewhere on the screen. Now, uh, what I found in that is that she is always been a free market conservative, uh, but has not take, had a has taken some time to become politically influential, and eventually she gained the highest position she got before this one was the foreign secretary, and um, basically based on her past track record and her current promises that she made during the campaign trail, we can guess whether she's a nationalist or not, which is what I'm going to do here. First, let's look at nationalism in the UK itself. Imagined Communities, Benedict Anderson's book. He defines a nation as an imagined political community, and imagined as both inherently limited and sovereign. And says that the four major characteristics that determine the existence of a nation are that it is imagined, limited, sovereign, and a community. Now, he says that the United Kingdom is an imagined community. It is limited by boundaries. It is operating sovereignly, and there's a strong sense of regional community and identity. So this, in according to Benedict Anderson, and I agree with him, this shows what nationalism in the UK is about. That it must remain a sovereign and free country, and that the borders of the British Isles and the English Channel, this fact that the UK is somewhat isolated from the rest of Europe through the ocean seas, has had a major impact on the people of Britain by giving them a separate culture different from the rest of Europe. And this has helped in defining what nationalism is to them. Now, does Liz Truss fulfill these demands of requirements for in order to be a British nationalist? We have to look at her policies for that. First, funnily enough, Liz Truss has not published her plan for government, but this is the closest thing to it. These are what she has said in hustings, interviews, articles, and debates. So, yeah, the fact that she has not published a manifesto is quite frankly ridiculous, in my opinion. But goes to show she's probably someone who goes through gut instinct rather than planning stuff out. But even so, I still think she should have made a manifesto. It should have been mandatory. Anyway, so what is the economy mean to the people of Britain? They basically, a majority of them support the NHS and several other welfare schemes, but they don't want these being excessive. They don't like welfare fraud. They want people to work and earn their own money. This is part of what the Conservative Party believes in, and also what is part of uh, the values that British culture has. And so let's see if she has supported this. She says that she will scrap a corporation tax rise, that she would not do the corporation tax hikes because she thinks they are vitally it's vitally important that Britain is attracting investment into their country. This shows that, and she commits to introducing no new taxes. Yes, no new taxes, which she said in the leadership hustings in London. So this shows that she doesn't want to burden the people, that she wants them to keep the money that they've earned, which is something that very capitalist mindset and something that appeals to most British people. And about the green energy policy, the whole thing, in my opinion, is being supported and promoted by globalists. And I'm glad that she says that we do not need to remove the green energy levy, that we do need to remove the green energy levy and find a better way of delivering our net zero targets. I'm glad that she's removing the taxation of green energy because that won't help in fighting climate change and higher emissions, because but it just hurts the common people. And here, next thing we have to look at is her home affairs. She supports more Rwanda style schemes to reduce illegal immigration. So what is the Rwanda scheme? It is a 5-year trial which will see refugees sent to Rwanda on a one-way ticket to claim asylum there instead. They may be granted refugee status to stay in Rwanda, but if they can apply to settle there on other grounds, or they can seek asylum in a safe third country. It will deter people who arrive in the UK through what it calls illegal, dangerous, or unnecessary methods. And how many people could be sent? The UK government said anyone entering the UK illegally after 1st January 2022 could be sent. Rwanda says it is ready to handle 1,000 asylum seekers during the trial, but has capacity for many more. So this is the Rwanda policy, and I support it. I, as far as I know, Rwanda's civil conflict has ended a long time ago. It is now a safe, stable country, but is authoritarian, but still, it's relatively safe, and it is a safe place for asylum seekers to go. And I'm glad that she won't continue the policy of allowing illegal immigration, which the UK has done for the last few years, which has caused great problems for them. She also says that in the British Bill of Rights, she will legislate to ensure the ECHR cannot overrule. The ECHR is a European Court of Human Rights. This basically, shockingly, still has jurisdiction in the UK after Brexit, which is surprising to me. And uh, this is a problem because suppose if Britain uh, deports illegal immigrant, the ECHR, which is a very pro-immigrant, pro-lefty, and globalist institution, might overrule this action by the UK government and force it to keep the illegal immigrants. So, on this basis of protecting sovereignty, she is a nationalist, and in supporting the growth of the economy, uh, that too, she is a nationalist. She is someone who is against legal immigration and will enforce the laws for it. But she has not said anything against mass legal immigration, which is also a problem because it creates excessive competition for the local people in the UK, especially from immigrants who might work for a lesser wage, which causes the locals to be outcompeted in the search for jobs and to have their wages go down as well. So yeah, the this is a problem for the UK that unfortunately Liz Truss hasn't addressed, um, because it seems it's can be uh, sometimes the liberal media and the Labour Party would accuse someone of addressing this issue as being xenophobic when they're not. Xenophobic would mean viewing foreigners as inherently bad, that they're all criminals or out to hurt us, which is not what being against mass legal immigration is. It's simply you can address that by saying that yes, these people are normal, regular people, but unintentionally their immigration to this country harms us. That's not xenophobic, but unfortunately, it's simply too difficult for the UK politicians of any kind to address this. So that is supporting the globalist agenda, the whole replacement agenda that the globalists have for white people. And there is a similar thing happening in India, but it's a little different. So she's a nationalist in terms of illegal immigration and a globalist in terms of legal immigration. And in terms of economics, she wants to promote growth by inviting companies to invest in the UK by lowering the corporate taxes. And she also wants people to keep the money they've earned, which is a pro people policy, which is also what nationalism is about the government supporting the people and not oppressing them and working for itself. Whether she will carry on with that or not, it remains to be seen. And but still, like she's not announced any big bang economic reforms that would get the UK's economy growing again. She was part of the government that created this cost of living crisis, partly because of her hostile policy towards Russia with during the Ukraine war, where we now know in April that the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson visited Ukraine to prevent Ukraine and Russia from signing a peace deal, and she supported that, and she also supported the sanctions against Russia, and now has spoken about being against China, which is unfortunate in my opinion. And I agree that uh, she should be focused on China to an extent because China is having unfair economic ties with UK and is dominating their economy unfairly. And several Chinese uh, spies have gone to the UK and stolen secrets from them. And but what China does in Taiwan, in Tibet, and other parts that aren't directly related to UK, I don't think the UK should be focusing that on that too much. But I understand that it is an ally of the US and it's part of NATO, and so one and obviously as like all other countries, it wants to make sure that sovereignty of all countries are respected. So that's why it supports countries like India and Japan against China. But I don't want her to be too focused on that. And yeah, so she's a mixed bag. I can't say that she's a full nationalist, but I can't say she's a full globalist. We'll have to see as her term in office continues to see how she uh, develops. And yeah, I just want to end this video by wishing good luck to the people of the United Kingdom. If you like that video and want to see similar videos, click on this playlist. If you want to see my previous video, click here. If you want to see the sources I use for this video, click the links in the description below. Thank you for watching. Vande Mataram.